Hey everyone, as many of you already know, I am a high school English teacher and I mainly teach 11th and 12th grade. Now, teaching this age group allows me to watch them kind of grow up. I get to see my students get their driver's license, their first job, and even register to vote. And I often stress the importance of voting, whether that be at the local, state, or federal level. But now more than ever before, our voting rights are being compromised.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like you and I, many of my students register to vote online, by mail, or even at the DMV. According to Vote.org, a nonpartisan nonprofit dedicated to voter registration and access for all eligible Americans, more than 18 million Americans registered or updated their registration through those channels in 2020 alone. And only 6% of voters registered in person at an election office that same year. But our current administration feels that this way of registering is allowing for fraud to occur. So this prompted Senator John Cornyn, a Republican from Texas, Senator Mike Lee, a Republican from Utah, and Representative Chip Roy, a Republican from Texas, to introduce the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, also known as the SAVE Act, in order to require individuals to present proof of citizenship when registering to vote, as well as a photo identification before voting in a federal election.
This is America.
The act, which was introduced in 2024, has already passed in the House of Representatives multiple times and is currently being debated in the Senate, with policymakers hoping it will pass before the upcoming midterm elections.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
According to Cornyn's website, the act is being put into place because under the Biden-Harris administration, at least 10 million illegal aliens poured into communities nationwide. In many states, these illegal aliens are eligible for driver's licenses and other benefits, providing ample opportunities to illegally register to vote in federal elections. In some jurisdictions, non-citizens are even able to vote in local elections. While only U.S. citizens can legally vote in federal elections, Democrats have resisted any effort to enforce the law via ID requirements.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, keep in mind that this statement is being made by Cornyn, a Republican who represents the Republican Party on both the state and national levels. His website is most likely accessed by those who share similar views, and his use of the term illegal alien reflects the Republican Party's stance on undocumented people and their rights. But what he and many Republicans fail to remember is that non-citizen voting has been a federal crime since 1996, carrying serious penalties, including fines, imprisonment, and deportation. And according to Vote.org, federal data from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services shows that just 0.04% of voter verification cases flag as potential non-citizens. And even within that small group, many had already proved proof of citizenship when they registered. So instead of fixing an actual issue, the SAVE Act would just be adding a new layer of documentation requirements on top of a verification system that is already in place and working. So here's how the SAVE Act would change things. Vote.org says that every American, including people who have been registered for decades, would need to appear in person at an election office with qualifying documents. Online voter registration, which 42 states currently rely on, would be upended or eliminated. Mail registration would end entirely. Voter registration drives would become functionally ineffective since they depend on reaching people at events and public spaces where no one carries a passport or birth certificate. What counts as a qualifying document, you ask? The SAVE Act requires one of the following: a valid U.S. passport or passport card, a certified birth certificate paired with a photo ID, a naturalization certificate, or a consular report of birth abroad. And if your name does not match across those documents, additional paperwork such as a marriage certificate would also be required. Additionally, these requirements apply anytime a voter updates their registration, including after moving, changing their name, or switching political parties. Millions of already registered Americans would need to comply, not just people registering for the first time.
Oh my God! Wow!
So what's the big deal? These changes would affect married women, since many of them don't have a birth certificate that matches their current legal name. Rural Americans, since many of them would need to drive more than 200 miles to reach an election office. Young and first-time voters, as many of them do not have access to qualifying documents. Low-income Americans, because attaining many of the qualifying documents comes with a fee. People of color, as many older African Americans were never even issued a birth certificate. And military members and Americans abroad, as the bill's in-person requirement would create significant barriers for service members stationed overseas and American citizens living abroad.
Well, this sucks.
Here's what we can do. Number 1, check your voter registration. You can do so at vote.org. Number 2, help those around you gather qualifying documents. Number 3, contact your senators at senate.gov. And number 4, stay informed. The power should always be with the people, and having a voice in our democracy is part of that. Because the minute they start taking away our voice, who knows what else they will try to take.